Good evening, gang. It's Chris Angel coming at you for another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. If you are new to the show, this show is for those of us in the world who have no patience for technology. We don't care about SEO or algorithms, but we do want to make an impact with human beings. If that's you, then this is the show for you, because we actually take marketing as a conversation and we demystify all that we think marketing is, or all that marketing has been told to us that it is. So here in this particular episode, I've got two things I need to unpack for you. The first is that you're so focused on, or we as a culture are so focused on the tools of marketing, on like what works. Like when I teach marketing, people are like, well, does it work? Well, does it work? And you're so concerned about whether something works or not that you spend no time developing your message. It doesn't matter whether a tool works or not. A tool empty of a meaningful message doesn't work. It doesn't work. It will never work. What works is you creating a resonant message or a connection with the person you're trying to serve. It has to start there. And if you can get that dialed in, then you can actually start talking about what tools work. But to ask if something works before you've ever mastered your message is premature. It's premature. You're asking the wrong question. Now, I get where the question comes from. The question comes from people who are typically financially tight. In other words, they're like, I need something to pop. I need this marketing thing to work. So does this work? Because I don't want to spend time on something if I can't get an immediate return. If I can't get this to turn into money, I don't want to invest my time in it. And now you've set yourself up for failure, right? Because the reality is it takes time to develop your message. For you to really get in touch with and dialed in on a resonant message, it takes some time. It takes practice. It takes iteration. Thousands of hours. Sorry. That is the unsexy truth nobody wants to tell you. It's way sexier to tell you on a webinar what my fancy tool is than to tell you you're going to have to spend thousands of hours dialing in your message. Now, here's the good news for you. The good news in light of that is that if you can look at your message, most people start to get confused when we talk about messaging because they put their marketing hat on and they start to speak about things they think they're supposed to speak about in order to market effectively. And they're missing the direct line to what resonates. The direct line from you to the person you're trying to serve, the direct line to what connects is truth. Your truth is what connects. And because you have lived your life, you have already your own truth. So in other words, you're closer to your message than you might think. So while it will take thousands of hours to master, you already have it at your disposal. Like it's already in your life experience to talk about. Like for example, we just started our 6-week course called the Groundswell Method Intensive. And in the first week, what we have our participants doing is creating messages every day. And they're already getting results. Why? Because we're teaching them simple formats for how to share their truth. And it's interesting, right? Because it's not like it's not highly technical. It just requires you to share from a place that you're not used to sharing. It's if in fact, look, guys, just look at your Facebook feed or look at any of your social platforms, and if you look at what most people are posting, this is going to bring me to my second point. If you look at what most people are posting, it all sounds the same. Now, it doesn't mean that they're insincere. It doesn't mean that they don't mean well. It doesn't mean that they don't want to create change in the world. But the way that it's being shared doesn't resonate. Why? Because it sounds like everything else. It's too generic. It's non-specific. It's fluffy. All of that. So the second point here that I have to unpack for you in this episode is that you need to stop quoting other people. Stop quoting other people. Just take a sabbatical. I'm not saying you can never quote somebody again, because there are people that have amazing quotes. I love to quote Seth Godin. Jim Collins is great. Like, there's plenty of people that I would love to quote. But I want you to take a sabbatical from quoting others, and I want you to start to look at what you have already said and then quote yourself. Now, before you roll your eyes, because I think people think that quoting themselves is arrogant or egotistical or stupid or dumb or I'm going to look like a fool if I quote myself. Who quotes themselves? Well, try it. Like, if you can't listen, there you can see that there's something bigger going on under the surface here, right? If you're uncomfortable quoting yourself, can you see how that would dismantle or dissuade you from posting your own message for the world? You saying something important to the world is you quoting yourself. All I'm saying is now go into what you already said and pull out something brilliant that you said to make it reshareable, repurposable in some way. So I want you to start quoting yourself. And if that feels funny to you, I want you to look into why that feels funny. So to wrap up, the question is not, does something work? Everything works. Like, look, guys, everything works. Cold calling still does work. I don't like it. It doesn't resonate with me. I think it has diminishing returns. I definitely don't think it works like it used to work. But at some level, everything works. So the question is more about what do you have to say? It's not whether something works. The real issue is, what are you here to say to the world? And once you get clear with that, then you can start looking at tools to decide which tools will work the best for me. But if you're asking that question before you've honed your message, it's premature. And you're going to be chasing shiny objects forever until you learn this lesson. You will be stuck in a karmic loop until you learn this lesson. You'll go around. You'll feel like, I'll try this course. Nope. I'll try this coach. Nope. I'll read this book. Nope. I'll do this podcast. Nope. And you'll just keep looking for answers, and nothing's going to land until you get clear about your truth and you start sharing that truth with the world. Got it? If you'd like to learn how we help people do this type of marketing, authentic marketing that doesn't rely on SEO and algorithms and technology BS, you can go to groundspellmethod.com. There's a free 90-minute course there with 5 videos. And it's a great place to start for how to begin to think about marketing this way. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Until tomorrow when we go live again, have a great evening.